Which language do you want to learn the most and why?
Dialects in China, because these languages are very hard to pick up. You have to basically live in the area and communicate in them every single day to become fluent or at least have a grasp in them, and unfortunately they are phasing out and dying languages. My name is Christine Ling and I am a high school student studying in Massachusetts in the United States, but I've been living in Hong Kong for 10 years. And coming from a background of learning Chinese, Cantonese, and German, I've been really passionate about languages for almost 5 years now.
What describe this platform?
Global, community, and innovative.
What makes Lingoscope stand out?
I think the most important factor that makes Lingoscope stand out is that we are completely student-led and student-run. I was inspired to launch Lingoscope for 2 reasons. First of all, I'm really passionate about learning German. In a lot of cases, there are not many student-led resources, and I just thought that having the idea of an online journal where students can share their work and share fun pieces of information they've learned would be really interesting. Another reason why I launched Lingoscope is because I realized that there was a lack of cultural exchange trips, especially during a pandemic, and this can definitely be an easy solution for students to be able to achieve that cultural exchange and be able to interact with people from another country during a pandemic. And I think by building a platform like Lingoscope, where we can connect students and allow them to meet each other, this can not only be helpful for them on their language learning journey, but it could also be really useful in terms of cultural exchange, which is absolutely important when it comes to language learning.
So have you encountered any challenges while you're building this kind of website? What kind of interesting stories do you want to share?
Starting any platform, any business, or any website is obviously very challenging. Just lead your own way and continue to push through. I've had a lot of great personal experiences through launching and running Lingoscope. One of my favorites is being able to meet people from all over the world, and it's just so interesting how even in the face of so many challenges today, we can be able to connect on a Zoom call where we can have people from over 10 countries connect, and this is something I wouldn't be able to do normally, but through Lingoscope this has really opened up a lot of opportunities and networking opportunities.
Some people might feel a little bit shy when they are trying to express them in a new language. What's your suggestions to them?
That's definitely one of the biggest hurdles of language learning, and one that we try to overcome with Lingoscope, because when students publish their work, it can be very scary because you're opening yourself to feedback and possibly criticism. And that same thing applies to just speaking a language. But as long as you have the confidence, you find your passion in the language, and I believe that by participating in language exchange trips with an online friend or even visiting a country, these problems can be very subconsciously dissolved, and one way to do that right now is through Lingoscope, because we are offering students a chance to do this remotely.
Based on your understanding, what is the key to language learning?
It was really useful to find your passion in the language. It doesn't have to come from the classroom, but it can come from a cultural aspect of it, perhaps food, or looking at films in the language that you're learning. And another thing that I think is really important that is always overlooked when people are learning languages is the importance of culture. When I first came to Hong Kong, it was really challenging for me to pick up Cantonese. And Cantonese is really one of those unique languages where you have to dive deep into the culture, understand the local colloquialisms, and be able to talk to people in order to understand that. So by immersing myself into a local school and by being able to communicate with other students who are fluent in Cantonese, I felt like I really understood Cantonese and really picked it up well because I had the opportunity to be able to connect with the cultural aspect.
So any suggestions for your peers who also have an entrepreneur ambition and want to make a difference?
It's not as hard as you may think it is. My 2 pieces of advice is to just plan very well and to just go for it, because you never know what might happen. Even if it's just looking down the road for 3 or 4 months, it's important to you to realize your goals, have faith in yourself, and just go for it. In this age and world where technology and the internet is so accessible, there are so many ideas out there that are just waiting to be brought to life.
What's your dream job? Any plans for a future career development?
Although my dream job is not directly related to languages, I would love to work in biotechnology, and I feel like the pandemic has highlighted so many issues that we need to overcome as society in terms of health and being able to prevent future pandemics and outbreaks. And I'd love to be able to work in the Greater Bay Area in the future, and I think my language skills could definitely be really helpful in bridging connections between people from all over the world and being able to communicate with scientists and talent from overseas, from China, and even from Hong Kong.